your chair for the day. I will start with house rules first. Every house has got its own rules. Before I welcome you, I would like to ask and plead with you to keep your camera off, as well as you keep yourself mute throughout the session. When you've got a burning question while our speaker is talking, you're welcome to ask a question on the chat. We'll take your question during the Q&A session. I would like to take this opportunity and welcome you to our ongoing series of workshops that we are hosting under the umbrella of Emerging Librarian. With this, we want to journey together with librarians to bridge the gap of the technology. As most of us, we still have the fear of technology. The Emerging Librarian is about embracing technology. Today's training session is about Excel. Mr. Simon is going to take us through the session as our 2023-2024 Emerging Librarian. Over to you, Mr. Simon. The podium is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nambita. Good morning, colleagues. Let me first take this opportunity and thank Liasa and Nevada for the opportunity given to me. And I hope we are here to learn, all of us, or it's a refresher mode. So let me share my screen. Please confirm from your side if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this workshop is named Excel Essentials. So we'll be dealing with Excel, and it's a beginner's guide to Microsoft Excel for librarians. So thank you so much for introducing me, Nambita. My name is Mr. Lisiba Simon Mujapilu, the Emerging Librarian of the year 2023-24. So let's get started. Training objectives. So out of this training, we are going to understand the spreadsheet software. We are going to identify Excel 2016 Windows components. So remember, with Excel, there are some differences. So I will be using Excel 2016. So you're going to understand the formulas, enter labels and values, and use the use of auto sum function, edit cell entries, as well as enter and edit simple formulas. These are our training objectives. Understanding spreadsheet data. What is Microsoft Excel? What comes to your mind the moment someone talks about the Microsoft Excel? So Microsoft Excel is a powerful spreadsheet software that is developed by a company named Microsoft. So Microsoft is the name of the company that developed Microsoft Excel. It allows users to create, to manipulate, to analyze data in a tabular form, making it an essential tool for various tasks ranging from simple data entry to complex financial modeling. So Microsoft Excel, like I indicated in our first workshop, that we have the Microsoft Productivity Suite. So within the Microsoft Productivity Suite, we are having various softwares or various applications. So one of them is Excel. Remember, we spoke of Microsoft Word. Then today we are dealing with Microsoft Excel. So with Microsoft Excel, you are able to create, to manipulate, and also to analyze your data in tabular form or even in charts forms. So it's an electronic spreadsheet program that allows users to perform numeric calculations. I know some of you might be asking yourselves, how are we performing numeric calculations in libraries? So we still coming to that. So spreadsheet, it is called a worksheet. Remember, when you open Microsoft Excel, you are working on a worksheet. So individual worksheets are stored in a workbook. You have a workbook that you are going to save, and it will be in an Excel file format. So this is the format that you will be having. And then, how as we as librarians going to use Microsoft Excel? How can we use Excel in our libraries? Because I know some of you think Excel can only be used by those who are in sales or those who are working in stores, those who are exposed to a whole lot of money or something like that. But even us as librarians, we can still use Microsoft Excel. So we use Microsoft Excel to perform calculations by adding formulas and functions to worksheet data. For example, calculating library membership and copies payments. Remember, in most community libraries, we are charging our members the library fines, we are charging them the copy fines. So we can still use Excel to run those calculations and avoid writing on our papers and using our pen. We can still open Microsoft Excel and then we do the calculations. And it will also help us to have accurate information when we are presenting our data. So number two, represents values graphically. So when you're using Microsoft Excel, you can still create various charts to check if this month we performed well and as compared to last month, as compared to last year, you can still have the charts to give your values in a graphical format. So Microsoft Excel can also be used in our libraries. We can also use Microsoft Excel to generate our reports. Not only Microsoft Word can generate reports, even Excel, it can generate reports. Creating workbooks that combine information from multiple worksheets, such as summarize the library expenses from different libraries or sections. Remember, if you are working in a big library, then each and every section, it has its own budget or money allocated to it, or a function is allocated a certain amount of money, then you can still use Excel to generate reports for each and every section. You can still use Excel to summarize your library expenses from various libraries if you are a library manager, or from various sections if you are responsible for managing the sections. So you can still organize data using Microsoft Excel. You can organize data by sorting data in ascending or descending order. For example, alphabetizing a list of products, or patron names, or prioritizing book orders by date. So with Excel, you can sort your data using various methods. So you can organize your data so that your data is presented in such a way that you can present it to your line manager, or you can still present it to your subordinates. So Excel also assists us in organizing our data. Then, even analyzing the very same data, you can use the Microsoft Excel by creating data summaries and shorts list using pivot tables or auto filters. For example, making a list of top 10 library patrons based on library usage. So you can still, at the end of the month, analyze your data based on what? Various reasons. For example, I used based on library usage. Remember, we do have people who are coming to our libraries more frequent. And as a librarian, let's say, for example, you want to appreciate them, or you want to give them something in return. And then you can use Microsoft Excel to analyze their number of visits that they made to the library so that you can award them freely. Unlike saying, I think I saw you last week, I think I saw them the other week, I think I saw them the previous month, but you can still use Excel to analyze that data for accurate results. So you can still create the if data scenarios by using variables values to investigate and sample different outcomes, such as changing the interest rate or the payment. So in Excel, we also have a function called the if function. So you can still perform the if function in your library. Then what are the advantages of using Excel? What are those good advantages of using Microsoft Excel? So with Microsoft Excel, you can enter data quickly and accurately. That's one thing I love about Microsoft Excel. If you follow the formulas correctly, then you can have accurate results. Recalculate data easily. So you can still go back to your data and then you recalculate using the Excel formulas. Perform the if analysis. Then you can still have the if scenarios to determine some of the things that you want to change in your libraries. There is an if analysis in Excel that you can still use in your libraries. Change the appearance of information. If your information was this last year and then this year you want to change it to a better view or a better display, you can still visit your workbook and then you change the appearance of that information. You can create charts. Remember, when you're using Microsoft Excel, you can still create various charts. You can create your pie charts, your histograph, your bar graph. You can use Excel to represent your data or to present your data using charts to your line managers. You can share information. Even the workbook, you can still send it out to your line managers. You can send it out to your colleagues. But the fact of the matter is that you can still share that information. Build on previous work. Unlike the printed information, when you have the printed information and then you want to you want to amend some of the sections, you cannot do that. But with Excel, you can still come back and then you add information and then you change here and there using Microsoft Excel. So we are navigating the interface. Okay. So the moment you open Microsoft Excel, you will be having this page. Upon launching Excel, you encounter the backstage view representing blank workbook and templates. Remember, like any other Microsoft suite productivity application, you encounter what you call the backstage view. This is the backstage view. You have the blank workbook here, the workbook that you can click and then you work on it, and then you can have the tour for Microsoft Excel. If you need some clarity here and there, you can take the tour, you can take the formula tutorials, pivotal table tutorials. So these are the tutorials that are provided by Microsoft as a company. And then we also have this option, more templates. You can still click here for more templates. If, for example, you want to calculate your monthly expenses, you can click here, and also you can even search for the template that you want to use. And then how do we open a Microsoft Excel workbook? So when you open Excel, you can select blank workbook or press Control N. This is the shortcut, and then you start typing. Or you select File, New, double click, a template, click and start typing. So this is how we create a workbook. So the foundation of Excel and location where you do your work are cells, rows, and columns within a worksheet. Many of tools users use while working on Excel are located on the ribbon that display across the top of the windows. So the ribbons are organized into task-oriented commands. Each tab is divided into task-specific commands, groups with commands and option that relates to the group name. So let's say, for example, you manage to open your Microsoft Excel. Then you are now given this page. This is your Windows. Then let's start by the ribbons. So we have the ribbons here. These are our ribbons. These are our ribbons. And then we have the file button. And then we have this one here, this book Excel. This is the area where you can rename your Excel workbook. You can rename it to, let's say, for example, you say Free State Library. You can rename it to Free State Library. Then you know that in this workbook, you are dealing with matters that are relating to Free State libraries. And then we have this section here. This section is called the name box. So the moment you click here, it will indicate the name of the cell that you have clicked. So this is called the name box. And then If you want to select your whole workbook, and then you click here, you select all buttons. So everything here will be activated. And then we have this tab here, which is called the formula bar. Remember, when you are performing your calculations using Microsoft Excel, you are using formulas. We don't use the calculator in Excel, but we are using what you call the formulas. And each and every formula, it should start with what you call the formula prefix, which is commonly known as the equal sign. But in Excel language, we call it the formula prefix. So this is the area where your formula will display. Let's say, for example, you perform your calculation here, and then you have your total. For us to know how did you arrive to this total, we're going to click here, and then the formula will be displayed here. To say, oh, so you said cells D plus M5. That's how you arrive to your total. This is what we call the formula bar. And then we have our column here. We have the column A, B, C, D, so and so. This is our column. And then this is our rows. The rows are numbered in numeric numbers. And then the columns are labeled with alphabetic numbers. Then we have the insert function button. This is the area where you can click for inserting your formulas. And then we have the sheet selector buttons. So these buttons here, the small ones here, we use them for selecting the sheet. And then we have the sheet tab. So with Excel, you can open multiple sheets in one workbook. Multiple sheets. So this is sheet 1. You can still rename it to your favorite name. And then if you want to add sheet 2, then you're going to click here. You are going to have sheet 2. And then you have the view options here. Then you can click the view options to your desired view. And then you have the zoom function. You can still zoom it to your desired size. And then we have a cell. I know some of you are still asking yourself, what is a cell? What comes to your mind when you talk of a cell? So a cell is an intersection of a column and a row. Those who did accounting or economics, we know what you call an equilibrium, where the supply and the demand meet. So in Excel, we have the column here, and we have the row here. So where they meet here, this is your cell. So if, for example, I have column A, can you see? I have column A, it goes down. And then I have this row, it goes this direction. Then this area here, it will be called A1. And it will display in here. Remember the name box. So we also have what you call an active cell. So the moment you click any cell here, so our active cell here is H1. Hence, it is written here. Can you see this? We click under H1 and it is written H1 here. So it means our active cell is H1. So each cell has its own unique location called a cell address. So a cell address is displayed here. The cell in which users are working in is called an active cell. So the moment you click in this cell, we call it an active cell. It allows you to start typing. So it's your active cell where you're going to perform the calculations. And then the name box displays the active cell address. Hence, I spoke of the H1. And then we have the formula bar, allows users to enter or edit data. So this is our formula bar. Let's say, for example, you were working on your document, and then you want to know, okay, your colleague sent you the final work of the document that you were working on, and then he or she performed calculations, and you want to understand how did you arrive to this total, how did you arrive to this average, how did you arrive to this minimum, or how did you arrive to this maximum. So you are going to click there that value, and then the formula will be displayed in this cell. In this bar, this is where you're going to be exposed to the formula that that individual used. If, let's say, for example, you were busy collecting user satisfaction program in your library, and then now you want to analyze your data, and then you collect all the information, and then you calculate how many users are satisfied with the services that we are providing to them, and how many users are dissatisfied with the library services that are provided to them. Then you have the total at the end. Then the total, you are going to click under the total, and then the formula will be displayed here. You get that? So this is what we call the formula bar. And we have the sheet tabs. Let's users switch from sheet to sheet in a workbook. And then we have our sheet here. We have sheet 1, and then we have sheet 2. You click this plus sign here, it will give you sheet 2. And then you can click sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5, and so on. So let's say, for example, you are a library manager. And as a library manager, you want to compile a report for all the libraries that are under your supervision. So sheet 1 can be renamed to, let's say, for example, Molepo Library. And then when you open sheet 2, it can be renamed to Mukokwaila Library. When you open sheet 4, it can have Sanin Library. So these are the sheets that you can enter data. So the moment we click under sheet 1, remember sheet 1 is Molepo Library. Then we are going to have the numeric values for Molepo Library. This is the area where we are going to have data specifically for Molepo Library. Then when you open sheet 2, you're going to find information specifically for Mokwakwele Library. You get that? So this is, but they are all in one workbook, but using different sheets. And then ribbon keyboard shortcuts. Remember, when you're using Microsoft programs, we have a whole lot of shortcuts that we can use. So there are various shortcuts that you can use when you're using Microsoft Excel. So the moment you press the Alt key, so it will display this shortcuts here. So these are the shortcuts that you can, the moment you say Alt plus FF, then sorry, you are going to find a variety of the fonts. Then you can choose the font that you want to work with. Then these are the shortcuts that you can still use using the Alt function. So these are the shortcuts. I'm not going to dwell much on them because of time. These are the shortcuts that you can still go through when you are using Microsoft Excel. If you want to copy, Control C, Control V, Control Z, remove cells, just click delete, and then yeah, these are the shortcuts. So formatting options. When you select a row or column that has formatting applied, the formatting will be transferred to a new row or column that you insert. If you do not want formatting to be applied, you can select the Insert option button after you insert and choose from one of the options as follows. So let's say, for example, you want to change the formatting in here. Remember, you were working under data 1. This is your data 1, this is your data 2, this is your data 3. And then now you inserted a new column. Then after inserting a new column, you have an option of format same as left. You can keep the same formatting as left, or you can keep the same formatting as right, or you can clear the formatting. So clearing the formatting, it means that the formatting, it is no longer there. Then you can start entering your data from scratch. If the insert option button is invisible, then go to File, Option, Advanced, in the card, Copy and Paste group, check the Show Insert Option button, Insert Options button option. So this is another alternative of formatting option. And then, okay, this is the tutorial. And then we also have this one, move or copy cells and cell contents. So how do you move or how do you copy cells and cell content? Move cells by drag and dropping. This is the method that usually most of us we perform. You select the cell or range of cells that you want to move or copy, then point the border of the selection. When the pointer becomes a move pointer, drag the cell or range a cell to another location. So this is how you can move your cells in between your workbook. And then move cells by using cut and paste. You can still select your data entries and then Control X or Control C for copy, and then you still click Control V for paste. There are various ways of moving or copying cells and cell contents. Available number formats in Excel. So remember, we are dealing with numeric data. When we are dealing with numeric data comes in different formats. It can come in numbers, it can come in currency, it can come in time, it can come in percentages. So this is a different format. So when you are dealing with your information, let's say, for example, you are dealing with finances. So when you're dealing with finances, you can still use accounting or currency as your format in that Excel. So you select the cell or a cell range, open a home tab, select number from the drop down, select the format you want. So if you are dealing with numbers, you can still leave it as a number or under general. And then if you are dealing with finances, you can keep it under currency or accounting. Then it will have the currency that you want to use. If you want to use your rent, it will display rent here. So here they were using a dollar sign. So with you, you can still use your rent sign. That's an worksheet. So remember we spoke of the sheets in Excel. The moment we were speaking about sheets, I know I indicated that you can still get more sheet by selecting this tab here. Remember, when you have sheet 1, you can still rename it. You can still have sheet 2 and then you rename it. And if you feel like you want to add more sheets, you click here. This is how you insert a new worksheet. And then this is how you rename it. Double click on the sheet name on the sheet tab to quickly rename it, or right click on the sheet tab, click rename and type a new name. So you can rename it to your desired name. And then duplicate worksheet or tab. Don't waste time copying and pasting data over a new worksheet tab, especially if you have set up a template to configure data or formula. Remember, when you open Microsoft Excel, you are going to come up with your own template, your own design, how you want your data to look like. And then now let's say, for example, you want to move your data or you want to have a duplicate of the very same sheet. Then you are going to simply right click, move or copy, select where you want to insert the tab, select create a copy. This is how you move or copy your sheet. And then you can change your sheet into various colors. You right click, select tab color, select your color. So you have the approved, painting and decline. You can still choose your desired color based on what you are working on. If you have the income, then you can have it in green, and then the expenses, you can still have it in red. So it is all up to you. Then we have the filters. I know some of you are still asking yourselves, how do people have data that is now filtered into various filters? So remember, you can still use your data, filter your data into alphabetic format. If you have people whose surname start with A, they can be the first people to display here. And then the last one will be having Z. So you can still highlight, and then after highlighting, you come here, sort and filters. Then you're going to sort. It's either you're going to set and in descending or ascending. So you set A to Z or you set Z to A. It is still up to you. Then your data will be sorted in a way that you have selected it. And then again, we have the filter here. Let's say, for example, you are working with a whole lot of data, and then this data seem to be more confusing. Then you can use the filter option to filter your data. For filtering your data, you are simply minimizing information. You want Excel to give you the exact information related to the one you selected. Then you are going to highlight here, and then you come here and then you click filter. And then you're going to have this drop down here. Then the moment you click the drop down here, you will now have all the rows that are now filtered. Then you can, let's say, for example, here I have Molepo Library, here I have Mukwakwele Library, here I have Zanian Library, here I have Gauteng Public Library, here I have the National Library. And then I'm looking for information for a national library. Then I'm going to click here, and then I say select all, and then if I select all, it will display all data for all the libraries that I have here. But if I click here and then I remove this tick here, and then I scroll down to select only national library, they will all be listed here. I select only national library. It means I will now have information relating to the national library only. So it will omit the information for Molepo, for Mokwakwaila, for Zaneng, for Gauteng, but only display information for National Library. That is how we use the filter option. You are going to have this drop-down arrow in here. So you streamline data analysis, facilitate data exploration, aids in data cleaning, enhance data visualization, simplifies report generation. Formula basics. Formulas are equations in a worksheet. When creating calculations in Excel, it is important to know where the formula should be, know exactly what cell and arithmetic operations are needed, create formulas with care, use cell references rather than values, determine what calculations will be needed. So I love this point. Use cell references rather than values. So the moment you open Excel, you remember you have your cells, and then in each and every cell, you enter your own data. So what it simply means is that use the cell references rather than the values that are found within the cell. So you can still use the cell references in order to avoid making mistakes. Let's say, for example, in cell C3, the value is 2,500. And then when you go to cell 4, the value is 13,920. So instead of typing all those information, you just have your equal sign, which is the formula prefix in Excel. I'm just saying equal sign so that you can understand. But when you are using Excel language, we call it the formula prefix. And then the formula prefix, and then you have your own formula, and then you're going to use the cell address here. Remember, we spoke of the cell references. This is cell 3. For cell 3, it represents the values that are within cell 3. You don't have to type them. You can click cell 3 plus cell 4. Cell 4 represents the values in cell 4. So when you're going to add, you're going to say equal sign or the formula prefix, and then cell 3 plus cell 4, and then you press enter. Then you will have the answer. The 2,500 plus the 13,920, then you are going to have the total. You are adding. Then when you are subtracting, you're going to use this sign. And then when you're multiplying, you're going to use this sign. And then when you are going to divide, this is the sign that you are going to use. And still, you can still go under the auto sum, and then you click here, and then you will now have various functions here. Remember, each and every cell, it has to be calculated with a specific formula. If you are adding, you can use the sum. And then if you're looking for the average, this is the formulas. Formula prefix, and then average, then open bracket, then you enter the cell range, the cell references. And then you have the count numbers, you have the minimum, you have the maximum, and you also have more functions. So there are more functions, whole lot of functions in Microsoft Excel. So introductions to formulas. So sorry, functions give you the ability to do a variety of things, like perform mathematical operations, look up values, or even calculate the dates and times. Let's try a few ways to add up values with the sum function. You start the formula with the formula prefix, so it is going to be equal sign, which is the formula prefix, and then you have the sum. And then it will open the bracket for you. And then you select the value that you want to add. And remember, with Microsoft Excel, we have this what do you call the same with the previous Windows. It used to use the colon, and then with the new one, it came with the semicolon. So please make sure that you pay close attention to the use of these punctuations. So with this one, I'm using the semicolon. And then you have the cell address here, then the semicolon, and then you have the second one, and then you press enter. So here we are not using the plus sign because we have what? We have the sum as our function here. You get that? Remember, with the previous calculation, we were not using sum. We were just using the formula prefix and then this cell plus this one. But here, we are using the sum. It means sum, you are just calculating the total number of all the values. So the value can be from cell 1 and cell 2. It is all still up to you. Now let's try the auto sum. Select the cell under the column formulas, auto sum, and select sum. You will see Excel automatically enter a formula for you. Press enter to confirm it. The auto sum feature has all of the most common functions. So we also have the auto sum. If you don't want to type it, you can still go to auto sum, and then Excel will give you this formula for you. Here's a neat keyboard shortcut. Select cell, then press Alt, then formula prefix, then enter. Automatically, this automatically enters sum for you. So there are various ways in entering a formula. So these are the videos that Microsoft is providing for tutorial purposes. Choose print options. So with Microsoft Excel, we also have the print options. Set one or more print areas. On the worksheet, select the cell that you want to define as a print area. We have what you call the print area under the page setup. It is still under this ribbon called the page layout. On the page layout tab, in the page setup group, click print area and then click set print area. So here you are going to set a print area into your desired option. To see all the print areas, to make sure that you are the ones you want, they are the ones you want, click view, page break view, and then workbook views group. When you save your workbook, then print area is saved too. So this is how you can check the type of print area that you have selected as a user. And then add cells to an existing print area. So with this one, you can enlarge the print area by adding adjacent cells. If you add cells that aren't adjacent to the print area, Excel creates a new print area for those cells. On the worksheet, select the cell that you want to add to the existing print area. Remember, I said with Excel, you can still go back to your workbook and then work on your workbook. On the page layout tab, in the page setup group, click print area, then click add to print area. Then you can still add to print area clear print area or set up a new print area. Thereafter, you save your workbook. The print area is also saved. Then you also have the option of clearing the print area. You just click anywhere in the worksheet for which you want to clear the print area on the page layout tab, then page setup group, and clear, and then you click clear print area. Then you are going to click it here. You click the drop down arrow and then you click clear print area. So these are the keynotes: Microsoft Excel basics, a powerful spreadsheet software for data organization and analysis. It offers customizable formatting options and collaboration features. So Excel for librarians, useful for managing collections, analyzing data, budgeting, event planning, and also generating reports. And then interface navigation. We spoke of the ribbon tabs, the keystrokes, as well as the shortcuts streamlining navigation. And then we spoke of data management. You can easily insert, delete, move, or copy rows, columns, as well as cell contents. And then we also spoke of the number format. Excel offers various formats for presenting data effectively. And then we have the worksheet management, whereby you can efficiently manage worksheets by inserting or even renaming, duplicating, or coloring your tabs. And then we spoke of the filters, whereby you facilitate data analysis, exploring, cleaning, visualization, as well as report generations. And then we have the formula basics, whereby you can master a basic math function and formulas for data manipulation without the use of a calculator, by just using these formulas. So thank you so much. We can now go to the question and answer session. I have my group of people who will be working under the question and answer session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. We are open for question and answers, but let me tease you before I'm struggling here. I want to compare cell A and cell Z, but I don't want to scroll up and down. How can I easily do that? That's my question for you, Simon, while we are waiting for our audience.
You're saying, Nambita, I think I missed your question.
I want to find out how can I compare cell A with cell Z without scrolling up and down. Mr. Nare, can you mute yourself, please? Mr. Nare? Thank you. We'll take your question. I see your hand is up. You can ask your question, Mr. Nare. Unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yes, I'm unmuted. Is Mr. Mujapelu still around? Can you hear me, Mr. Mujapelu?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. I would like to know in research, because I often hear students, telling us that they analyzed their data using Excel. So my question is it possible? And if it's possible, for Mujapelu to show us how to analyze both qualitative or quantitative data. So that's what I'm asking. Are you able to do that? Remember, qualitative is data that you can interpret, and quantitative is basically counting the numbers. It's statistical data. So are you able to advise Yapel?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that question. Okay, remember, when you are in research, when we are in a research space, we are using Microsoft Word first. And then if you are using both research approaches, let's say, for example, you're using qualitative as well as quantitative. And then you now have your data in Microsoft Word, but you can still turn it into, you can convert that data into Excel. So Excel can still have your perform your chats. So within Microsoft Word, you can highlight the information that you want to convert it into quantitative data. So you can quantify your data using Microsoft Excel. So you highlight everything, and then you go to what is this option, whereby you're going to add your chart and all that. So Excel will automatically, Word will automatically open a small windows in Excel. Then you start to insert your data, and then Excel will provide you with the charts. It will provide you with the tables. It will provide you with variety of charts, and then you can still export that information in Excel, and then you export it to your research document. That is how we do it.
Well, thanks, Miapelo. It would have been useful to do, additional demonstrations on things like analyzing quantitative or qualitative data. I know this is a prepared presentation, so I'm not saying you need to do it now. But last question, the tutorial videos, can you ask questions like the question I've asked about data analysis? Are you able to do that?
You mean under the tutorials?
Yeah, for instance, on Excel, you can ask about references, and then you will get some helpful guidance. So I'm saying on Excel, I see you have the help function, right? So
Yes.
using this function, can I, for instance, ask Excel to teach me how to insert a table or analyze the data, actually about analyzing the data? Because I wanted to know if you have additional resources like study guide, Excel study guide. I used to have this study guides, but I lost them. So don't you have guides for all these Microsoft packages that you can send us?
Okay. Remember
So,
when
Sorry, Malapelo. Anika is gonna take the question for you.
yeah,
okay, thank
I just wanted to just pop in and just say, so the wonderful thing about Excel and all the information out there, as well as the rest of the packages, there's so much support online. So at the end of this presentation, you would have seen the link to where you can find that extra support. It has quick little videos, and they also have a live robot that can help you answer some of your questions. So once we can share this presentation afterwards, just go and have a look there. There's so much information online as well. So I don't know if that can perhaps assist you as well if you have specific little things that you don't know exactly where to find the answers for.
Thank you. Thank you.
To add what Anika is saying, once you click on analyze, you click help, it's gonna it's gonna redirect you to 365 Microsoft data, the question and answers that you can further educate yourself. So
Yes.
it answers you and it shows you exactly a step by step of what you are asking. And if the information is not helpful for you, you are able to say no. Then it takes you to a robot where you have an interactive session with them. Thank you for that. There are a few questions that are online. And due with time, we won't be able to answer all of them. We will post it on our Facebook and YouTube. The answers, we're gonna compile your questions and send it, reply to them, as well as when we are circulating through Apelele, the recording, you will have those answers there. Let me take
And just
this
sorry,
opportunity
Nambita,
and give it to Anika.
Yeah, just a quick one from my side. So in the beginning, you asked the question, how to get from one cell to another. So just in the beginning of this presentation as well, there was also a list of shortcuts. So that's awesome if you can basically get to know those shortcuts. It will make your world so much easier, not just working in Excel, but in Word and any Microsoft platform you work in. So just have a look at that list of shortcuts, and that will literally make your life so easy. You can continue, Nambita.
All right, thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity and thank you each and everyone, especially Simon, for the very informative session and keeping us on our toes with the technology. And I would like to urge with the members to follow our Facebook page, our social media, so that you can keep informed. We will come back and we will ask for advanced session. Remember, this is what it was just the beginners session. We see that based on the question that you are asking are more advanced than this session that we prepared. We will ask based on Liasa if they've got any available slot so that we can do advanced. Thank you very much. You will earn CDP points for this session. All our sessions are qualifying for CDP points. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.